170 million people live in Pakistan, and only 2.5 million of them file tax returns. It's one of the lowest rates in the world, and it forces Pakistan to rely on foreign loans from countries like the United States.
This is the biggest tragedy which faces the Pakistani people, that their rich are not willing to fund and pay their taxes so that the poor can get a better quality of life.
It's a week before the annual deadline in one of Karachi's most posh neighborhoods. And this is H&R Block, Pakistani style. Across town at the Provincial Assembly, more than 40 ministers claimed not to own a vehicle last year, including, of all people, the Minister of Transportation. Even former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, who's also a wealthy businessman, didn't pay income taxes according to the most recent records available. His spokesman said Mr. Sharif was in exile and he handed over his business interests to relatives. The system has two main problems: corrupt tax collectors and wealthy politicians unwilling to change laws that benefit them.
It is not the corruption of the individuals. It's the corruption of the system we have prevailed in this country, whereby we can call it free for all.
Accountant Shabar Zedi is a leading expert on taxation.
We have a joint venture in our favor. We are all benefiting against common man of Pakistan.
For the common man, Pakistan can be a nightmare. At the city's largest hospital, patients wait 3 days for a bed. And while public ambulances are rare, one can always be found trailing the chief minister's motorcade.
We are living in big houses. Why should we be worried? And I've got 10 servants in my home. So it is a very good country for the rich man.
So how does the country support itself?
$1.5 billion in direct support to the Pakistani people every year over the next 5 years.
The American taxpayer is subsidizing the Pakistani rich. I mean, that's the best way of putting it.
Akbar Zedi is a political economist for the Carnegie Endowment.
So I think it's not just unfair for the Pakistani people, it's also unfair on all those countries, on the average individuals who are paying their taxes in their countries, hoping that they're doing some good in Pakistan. But what is actually happening is that the Pakistani elite are allowed to go scot-free.
Last month, parliamentarian Jihangir Tareen challenged his colleagues to pay their taxes from the floor of the parliament.
हम तमाम अपने आप अपने गिरबान में देखें और कहें हमारा क्या हक है लोगों पे टैक्स लगाने का अगर हम खुद टैक्स नहीं दे रहे.
I have not been called by a single politician. It's a complete silence, absolute silence.
Like most politicians, Mr. Tareen's also a wealthy landowner. He thinks it's wrong that products for the poor, like milk powder and cell phone cards, are taxed, while big businesses for the rich, like real estate and agriculture, are virtually untaxed. So what happened when he made an honest attempt to pay the taxes he did owe?
When they sent the check back to me, I was quite surprised. It hadn't happened to me before that the government tax authorities would refuse to take taxes from a citizen who wanted to pay his taxes.
And it's not just the wealthy who don't pay taxes. In Pakistan's thriving markets, middle-class traders are militantly against taxes. The government tried to implement a value-added tax on goods this summer, but traders protested nationwide and got their way.
And now the stage has reached where everyone says, well, if the president, prime minister, ministers, senators, everyone is doing it, why should we? Why should we? We are not going to get caught.
A week before the tax deadline, I followed this collection team of 30 city employees. Their target? Thousands of repeat defaulters. When some owners refused to pay, the team confiscated possessions and closed down their shops for the day. But most of these collectors, who earn less than $200 a month, aren't always so tough.
The inspector will come to you and say, all right, you have to pay 300,000 rupees, all right, we'll settle at 50,000, you pay no tax. The end of the matter.
In one shop, the haggling over a merchant's tax bill got so heated that officials demanded I turn off my camera. When the parties emerged more than an hour later, the dispute seemed to be resolved, and the collector was no longer concerned about recovering taxes.
It has been a slow moral degradation in the country. If you take out morality from the law, if you take out morality from culture, if you take out morality from our treatment or our character, then this is what is going to happen in the country.